The emptiness of what you are experiencing right now is so raw and brutal. I'm not experiencing the same kind of emptiness that you are now, and I want to disclaim that. You are in the thick of a nightmare that just won't stop. Even though my emptiness looks a little different, then maybe this is the best time and place to talk about it here, since it's all I can think about lately. Yesterday, I was journaling for well over an hour to get to the bottom of the emptiness that I've been experiencing as of late. For the first week and a half or 2 weeks that, I got back from Dallas, I was actually having a much better time, and I was relaxing more than I had in many, many, many years. But then suddenly I started to feel this negative shift. I realized that this is overwhelmingly from my doctor not responding to me and not sending me the documentation that I had been asking for well over 73 days. I also know that this has a lot to do with missing my family in Dallas, you and the boys. I miss you. I spend a lot of time in my day missing you. I also happen to be the personification of the lament configuration. It is exceptionally difficult to find and identify the complex patterns that have emerged in the complicated elegance of my brain frame in any attempt to try to figure out what the root of this problem is. Like, I sat down yesterday and earlier today, over an hour, 2 hours ago, to try to write a response to your video, and I literally couldn't come up with anything. I just felt so empty. Not that this is really new, but nothing is really keeping or sustaining my interest for longer periods of time. I even have a section in my daily page where I write down things that have been actively keeping my interest, because that tells me that, when you're curious about something, then you still have something to fight for, something good to fight for. When we lose our sense of curiosity, we lose ourselves. So not losing my curiosity, that's extremely important to me. I have things that I do every day that I do to focus on my nutrition, my physical health, moving my body, basic mental health care, but I'm not creating anything, and that makes me feel a certain way. I want to have things that I made that I can say that I am proud of and rebuild my confidence on those things. But after thinking about it, I started journaling about it a couple of hours ago, and I realized that I have been buying into the exact same thing that I tried really hard to keep you from buying into, that our self-worth is equal to our output. It is not. I'm trying to, quote unquote, fix the emptiness that I'm feeling with productivity, whether I want to draw better, move better, physically feel better, or look differently. If I want to improve faster, I am still speaking to the core of capitalist language, that worth and output are synonymous. They're not. So in my mind, since I'm on LOA, you would think that I would want to utilize this time to really explore that part of myself. This is prime time to get back in touch with that part of yourself and really express yourself. And unfortunately, it's not that easy for me. I gotta go through all of Pinhead's mazes so that I can explore and really figure out what are the reasons behind this baggage. Where did it come from, and how do I deal with it? But that in and of itself makes you feel empty. Yay. But you know me, I always want to take negatives and turn them into a positive. Reframing is my heroine. Is this really evidence of losing my spark? Or is this what happens when sensitive, well-meaning, oriented people like you and me have been stretched too thin in a system that's designed to use people like resources? Because capitalism isn't just taking money and time and resources away from us. It steals aliveness. It replaces that aliveness with pressure to perform. So maybe it's more fitting if I say I have been over extracted, because all the ideas, all of that goodness that is in you, it's still there. Someone wrote a great article about a book that our homie Thich Nhat Hanh wrote before he very sadly passed away in 2022. What I got from that is that I'm not sure that emptiness really has to mean nothingness. I think it can also be space. It's the space between things, like the pause between breaths in the up down, that you inhale and then there's that moment and then you exhale. It's the moment before an audience at a wrestling show realizes who's about to make their triumphant return. Maybe a lot of our lives, as an adult could be equated to sitting in a waiting room, waiting to be taken to the next level or to get the promotion or to graduate from school, whatever it is. Those moments don't have to be empty and mundane. There is sacredness in the mundane. And, when we think about emptiness and creative output, the kind of creativity and output that heals doesn't come from forcing any kind of meaning. It comes from allowing yourself to make small, meaningless things again. I think it's about keeping in gentle contact with life, subsequently with the present moment, but with life. That can mean swaying instead of dancing, doodling badly, singing a bunch of nonsense badly. Anything that reteaches the body that self-expression does not need to have justification. It doesn't need to have a rhyme or a reason. It doesn't need to make sense. We don't even need to have the acceptance of others. Self-expression can happen whenever it wants to. And just because, maybe, doodling a cat doesn't make me feel fulfilled, but maybe it doesn't make me feel empty either. And even if we do feel hollowed out to our core, if we feel as if there is nothing left of us, we have a chance to rebuild or re-see ourselves in a way that we never have before. Fake positivity sucks ass, and I've been distancing myself from those things for a few years now. And I really want to do my best to not try to lecture you or to paint over this with rose-colored glasses, because that's not going to work. That's not real life. That's not the truth. That's not a reflection of real life and what's happening right now. It's like what you said. We just have to keep showing up. Showing up for yourself even when you feel empty. Showing up for others whenever you feel empty. The commitment that you and I have shown each other in our relationship is absolutely astounding. We haven't always gotten it right, yet we still choose to show up here. The best thing I think that I can do for you is I show up for life with the same kind of consistency and steadfastness that you do. One moment of presentness, one moment of forgetting 1 hour existed because you were editing a video that you wanted to edit, or drawing or painting something. If you spent 10 minutes learning how to do a dance you always wanted to learn how to do, or, going out there and golfing for a morning and just forgetting about everything. I think that is just the ultimate fuck you to society. It is the ultimate fuck you to capitalism. To anyone who has ever doubted you. I believe in you. Anyway, I have always believed in you. I love you. Hello. Hello, ma'am.